Yes.
We'll start.
Yeah, you guys go for it.
Yeah, okay.
Should I
Yes,
start?
first
Okay.
line.
Hey, I'm sick and tired of you guys grabbing all the opening lines all the time. I'm sitting back there waiting to open a show, and what happens? One of you grabs it. It's not fair.
Well, we understand. We're sorry. We just didn't realize, that's all.
Yeah, it won't happen again, I promise. Listen, I got a good idea. Why don't you open this show?
Yeah.
Eh?
Yes. Why don't you?
Well, okay. This program deals with handling complaints.
You're about to find out why guests complain and why they don't.
You'll also learn why complaints are actually a valuable thing.
And most importantly, you'll learn the best approach to dealing with complaints when they occur. How was that?
Very good. I feel so much better now.
We thought you were wonderful.
Yeah, it was great. Good job. You're nice.
Should we get started?
Okay.
Let's go.
Today on the Wanda Truth Show, why do customers complain? Why do customers not complain? We're about to find out. Please welcome our guest for today, a woman who demands to be heard whenever she's not happy, Ms. Caroline Sharp. And a man who feels that confrontation is simply not worth the bother, Mr. Ben Meeks. Thanks for being here with us today. We're trying to shed some light on the whole issue of complaints in the tourism industry. We know they're a normal part of any business, but why, when faced with the same problem, will one customer complain while the other will not? Caroline, you've complained to the best of them. What makes you take the time to complain?
Wanda, I'd like to start by pointing out that I am not a mean or a selfish person. I am a person with expectations. And if the product or service I'm receiving doesn't meet my expectations, I feel I have a right to complain.
Give us some examples.
Well, if I get something and it doesn't seem to be worth the money I paid for it, I'll complain.
Like if you're paying $6.50 for a piece of cheesecake and it's this thin?
Yes. Or if something requires more effort on my part than it's worth to me, I'll complain.
Like if you take a tour of an art gallery, but you have to walk a mile of hallway before you get to the first gallery.
Yes. Or if I go somewhere in search of a specific service or product and it's no longer being offered, I'll complain.
Like you go to your favorite nightclub and they no longer have the Chippendale Boys performing?
Yes. No. Well, something like that, yes. I'll also complain if I have to wait longer than I expected or if the quality of the product is lower than I expected.
Anything else?
Yes. I'll complain if I feel that one of my personal principles has been violated.
Example?
Like a tour guide making a sexist or racist comment during his talk.
Okay, those are all fair enough, audience, wouldn't you agree? But tell me this, Caroline. Have there ever been times when you've complained and you knew that you were being a little unreasonable? Be honest.
Well, I guess there was a time or two. I suppose there have been times when I was under a lot of stress or I wasn't feeling very well when I've made a big deal out of a rather small problem. There was one time when I had a bit too much to drink as well.
How about for attention? Ever complain to impress a companion or simply draw attention to yourself?
You've been talking to my friends, haven't you?
I'm not trying to hang you out to dry here, Caroline. I'm simply looking for reasons.
Well, I guess that may have happened once or twice. But I'd like to point out, generally, when I complain, I feel that I'm doing that business a favor. If there was a problem with my business, I'd want to know about it.
All right. Well, thank you, Caroline, for being so candid with us. Ben, let's hear from you. Why do you choose not to complain?
Well, a lot of the time, Wanda, I just don't have anything to complain about. Everything is A-okay.
All right, but when you do have something to complain about, what stops you?
Oh, lots of things, I guess. And sometimes I think that nobody will really care about what I have to say, and sometimes it just seems to be more effort than it's worth, or I just don't know who to complain to.
Do you ever feel too insecure or intimidated to complain?
Yeah, I'm just afraid that I'll be a big party pooper if I complain, and it's just all so negative, Wanda.
Have you ever watched another guest complain and thought, It didn't even occur to me that I should expect more.
No, I'd have to say big yes to that one.
So if you don't complain, how do you deal with the problems you encounter?
Oh, well, I just take my business elsewhere next time.
Excuse me.
Caroline, do you have something else to add?
Yes, are you aware that this juice has gone bad?
It has?
Yes, Ben, is yours bad too?
Oh, yeah. But I didn't want to embarrass anybody. I didn't really know quite what to say.
Well, I am so sorry. I'll get you some more juice right away. But first, we have to say goodbye. We'll see you next time on The Wanda Truth Show.
Oh, hello. Welcome to Tourism Through Time, the show that reveals the origins of important aspects of the tourism industry. Today, we look at the evolution of dealing with customer complaints.
Ha! Tambora bada bada hu! Sakula budalu! La kabula la banana kajola bola! Una ganyo! Una iyo baba kajola! Jagawaka! Humbabara mubaba! Tuba! Tuba! Hu samarana! Ha! Tuba! Hu! Samarana!
There was a time when people only saw a complaint as a negative thing, something to be dealt with in the most expedient way. But there were problems with this approach. Unhappy customers tended not to return and were renowned for spreading the word of their dissatisfaction. So, one day, it occurred to someone that complaints could actually be used to their advantage. It could be a way of improving their businesses.
Ha! Yogo mama uluga ula bala la gala ulu akja Bambuta kambambara hua Oh kumbaru Sambuka manara Shambuka ba Huskambula Ah Kumasaki gu Badu La cuca? La cuca? Oh!
And so we see a shift in thinking about the value of a complaint. Rather than being a purely negative experience, tourism operators began to see complaints as their opportunity to improve their businesses by identifying and correcting problems. Learning to deal with customers in a positive manner made for happier guests and happier employees. Customers were also more likely to return for another visit and to recommend the establishment to their friends. Well, that's it for now. See you next time on Tourism Through Time. Welcome to the Tourism Olympics. Today we're at Splash Land for an event called Handling Customer Complaints. Larry?
Bob, our first contender's name is Mike Smoother, and it's a name you'll want to remember. He's one of the highest-ranked competitors in this event and a real contender for gold.
Okay there, Larry. We just got the word that an unhappy guest is heading for the service counter, so let's go there.
Right you are, Bob.
Hi, can I help you?
Yes. Your lifeguards aren't doing much of a job at that kiddie pool.
Ooh, a quick start, Larry. Now what's he likely to do here?
Well, hopefully, he'll remember to stay calm and not to take our anger personally. That's number one. Next, he'll want to listen carefully to what she has to say and to show genuine concern.
I have 2 young kids in that kiddie pool. They were having a great time until some older boys decided to take it over. Your lifeguards haven't done a thing, and my husband has had to take my kids out because it was too dangerous for them.
Well, it sounds like things are a little out of control.
Those boys are flying down the slide without looking to see if any little kids are standing at the bottom. One of them made a huge splash that knocked my 2-year-old right over. He went right under the water and he was very frightened.
I can imagine. I'm very sorry about that.
We went to the lifeguard, but all he did was ask the boys to settle down. They're still in there.
So how's Mike doing so far there, Larry?
He's doing well. I mean, he's listening patiently, letting her have her say without stopping her. Now, you'll notice that he's making the occasional comment, but that's designed to show that he believes her and that he's concerned about the problem. He's also gathering details by asking open-ended questions like, can you tell me what's happening?
Those boys shouldn't be allowed in that kiddie pool at all.
It doesn't sound like it. How old are these boys?
Notice what he's doing here. He's let her blow off steam.
7 or 8, at least.
So you feel that these boys are too old to be in the kiddie pool, and you'd like the lifeguard to ask them to play in the larger pool, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
I'm going to make a phone call to the head lifeguard and ask him to look into the situation. If those boys are older than 6, they shouldn't be in that pool at all. Please excuse me.
And already, she's considerably calmer.
That's very good. Now, Larry, Mike seems to be handling this situation very, very well.
Very well indeed, Bobby. Mike has listened attentively and taken her complaint seriously. He hasn't argued with her or fallen into the trap of taking the complaint personally. And this has done a lot to diffuse her anger.
It certainly has. Now, I noticed that he repeated her concerns back to her. Now, tell our viewers, is this a good idea, Larry?
It's a fabulous idea. You want to make sure that you fully understand what the perceived problem is before setting out to solve it. Mike is also taking the time to investigate the complaint right here and now. And you can see that this guest appreciates it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I just spoke with the head lifeguard. Those boys are too old to be playing in that pool, and he's going to ask them to play in the larger one. And he's going to remind the other lifeguards about the age limit. Is there anything else that you think we should be doing?
No, just so long as those lifeguards know.
Good form again. See, he's now including her in the resolution of the problem by informing her of what's being done and making sure she's satisfied with the response.
I'm sorry about the inconvenience to you and your family. Would you accept these free coupons to the kiddie rides? I'm sure they'll help cheer your kids up.
Oh, all right. Thank you. We've always enjoyed your water slides, and I just didn't want to see things get out of control. Thanks so much for your concern.
Oh, glad I could be of help. Have a nice day.
Oh, you too.
Well, that looked like a good performance, Larry. Would the coupons be a form of compensation?
Good form of compensation, although the real compensation is a timely resolution to the complaint. And that's what's really going to turn around an unhappy guest. But the coupons were a nice way of saying, hey, look, I'm sorry, and for making amends.
So, Larry, what do you see as being the basic steps in handling a customer complaint?
Well, there are 3 primary things. The first thing is to deal with the guest's emotions. That's done by listening and showing that you understand. The second thing is to deal with the problem. This involves investigating the facts and finding a reasonable solution that is acceptable for both the business and the guest. And the third thing is to make amends. This means accepting responsibility, apologizing for the problem, and making appropriate compensation.
Well, Mike certainly did all of that. I'm afraid that's all the time we have right now, so we'll see you next time for Tourism Olympics.
That's it for this show. There are many reasons why guests do or don't complain.
And one thing we know for sure is that complaints we do hear about represent an opportunity for improvement.
The key to resolving complaints effectively lies in your ability to listen effectively to your guest and to take action.
Remember, handling a complaint is your chance to turn a negative into a positive.
Hey, Lawson, you want to close the show now, too?
Good idea. I think sure. You guys are the best. It really feels good to have a complaint taken seriously. Well, I guess that's it for this show. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Well done.
Thank you.